mat. Let's meet back into our dolphin plank. Keep the core strong. Option to lower to knees here if you're struggling. See if you can gaze between the thumbs. We've got to do the other side now. So grounding down to the left hand. Let's roll onto the outside edge of that left foot. Sweep the right arm all the way up to the sky. Keep the core activated, using the oblique muscles. Let's inhale, thread that right arm underneath the left. As we exhale, let's lengthen that right arm all the way to the sky. Inhaling, threading through. Exhaling, lengthen. Last one, as you inhale, thread through, take the gaze to the right fingers. Exhale, push the right hand up to the sky, push out through the side waist. Let's release that right hand down to the mat. Let's meet back into our dolphin. Take a nice deep breath in here. And as we exhale, just start to lower the knees to the mat. We're going to draw the bottom back towards the heels, stretch out through the fingertips and meet into a long child's pose. Just bringing the hands to meet each other. You bring the hands into Anjali Mudra. So the palms meet. You're going to bend the elbows, draw the thumbs back behind the head. See if you can walk the elbows a little bit slightly forward. So you're lengthening out through the triceps. Let's take a nice couple of cleansing breaths here. Reconnecting. Lengthening the inhalation. And lengthen the exhalation. And slowly releasing the hands. Let's replant the hands onto the mat. Pushing into the hands, let's start to draw ourselves all the way back to our tabletop. Again, tucking the toes under. Press out through the hands. Let's draw the chest back towards the thighs. And then slowly straightening out through the legs. Let's meet ourselves into a downward facing dog. So just have a little gentle pedal out here. So it's really good to release a bit of tension into the calf muscles in this posture. So perhaps you gently pedal through one foot and then slowly pedal through the other. Perhaps taking the gaze underneath alternate arms. And just deepening the amount of movement that you're taking, just working with your body. Okay, so bringing yourself back into your downward facing dog. Just make sure the hands are shoulder width apart, the feet are hip distance apart. As we press down through the hands, we're going to start to raise up onto the toes. Arch the spine up towards the sky. As you arch the spine up, you sort of draw the torso forward and stack the shoulders over the wrists. Now pushing out through the heels, we're going to engage the core, meet ourselves into a high plank. Let's lower the left knee towards the mat. We're going to bring the right knee in towards the forehead. As we exhale, we're going to lengthen that away. Inhale, draw in knee to nose. Exhaling, lengthen. This time as we inhale, draw the knee to the nose. We're going to draw that all the way back and meet into a three-leg dog. So you push the right leg all the way back, raise up off that left knee. Draw the right leg up to the sky and push the chest back towards the standing leg. Nice deep breath in here. Exhale, release. Now bending that right leg, let's step that right hip on top of the left, opening up through the right hip. See if you can gaze underneath the right shoulder. Now slowly drawing that right leg all the way back. Let's plant that right foot onto the mat. Making sure the feet are hip distance apart again. Inhaling, rippling forward, arch the spine up towards the sky. As we exhaling, pushing out through the heels. Let's lower the right knee to the mat, keep the right toes tucked. Drawing that left knee into the forehead. Exhaling, lengthen that away. So crunch in through the core. Inhale, knee to nose. Exhaling, lengthen. Last one, inhale, knee to nose. So this time as you exhale, lengthen, you're lifting up off that right knee. You're pushing the left leg all the way back and you're meeting into a three-leg dog. Really lift those left toes up towards the sky, push the chest back towards the standing leg. Now bending that left knee, stack the left hip on top of the right, see if you can gaze underneath that left arm. Nice deep breath in. Exhale, side away. Now slowly drawing that left leg all the way back. Let's plant the left foot onto the mat. Take the gaze to the short edge of the mat. Let's step all the way forward. Bend the knees, rest the chest onto the thighs, interlacing the fingers behind the back. Take the gaze forward as you exhale, fold down and bring the gaze towards the toes. Draw the chest towards the thighs. See if you can lengthen the arms up towards the sky. Straightening out through the elbows, stretching out through the front of the shoulders. And slowly bringing the gaze back. Start to gently bend through the knees. Release the hands and let's gradually start to ragdoll the body all the way up to standing, meeting all the way up at the head of the mat. So taking the hands above the head, interlace the fingers. Just turn the palms away, draw the triceps back behind the ears. Bringing the hands down to shoulder height. Just turn the palms to face down and just have a little roll out through the wrist. So you're just releasing any tension that you might be feeling into the wrist joints. Okay, now releasing the hands. Let's inhale, draw the hands up towards the sky. Interlacing the fingers with the index finger out. Let's drop the arms over towards the right and stretch out through the left sideways. Drawing that slowly back through center. As you reach center, push down through the feet, push up through the fingertips. And then as we exhale, let's roll that over to the other side. So you're pushing out through the right hip, stretching out through the side waist on the right side. Drawing that back through center. As you reach center, we're going to really cactus the arms, open the heart up towards the sky. Perhaps see if you can take the gaze up towards the ceiling. And as we exhale, we're going to swan dive that body all the way forward and take a nice deep forward fold. Inhaling, look up and lengthen. As we exhale, plant the hands down. Let's step back and meet into our downward facing dog. So now releasing the right ankle over the left thigh. So you're going to make a figure of four with the legs. So you flex out through the right foot, allow that right knee to roll out to the side. Again, still pushing the chest back towards the standing legs. Just allow that right hip to open. So we're going to come into a twisted roots side plank. So you're crossing the right leg over that left. Perhaps you're bringing the toes back around the calf. We're resting onto the outside edge of that left foot and seeing if we can release the right hand all the way off the mat. Push out to the right hip. Keep the gaze down if the balance isn't good. If the balance is good, take the gaze up towards those right fingertips. Really push that right hip up towards the ceiling. Now slowly windmilling that right arm all the way over. Let's plant that right hand down, uncross the legs, and let's meet that back into a downward facing dog. Inhaling here. Exhaling, you're lifting the sit bones up to the sky, lengthening out through the spine. Okay, let's take that to the left side. So you're going to draw the left ankle, flex the left foot, make a figure of four with the legs. So you're resting the left ankle onto the right thigh. The chest is going back towards that standing leg. So perhaps you want to stay here, or perhaps you're going to come into the twisted roots. So you draw the legs crossed a little further. Release that left hand off the mat. Push out through that left hip. Push it all the way up to the ceiling. Again, if the gaze is good, perhaps you can gaze up towards those left fingertips. And then if the balance is good, keep everything activated. Use the core, using your oblique muscles. Now rolling that left arm all the way overhead. Let's plant that left hand down on the mat. Let's draw and release the left foot. And let's meet back into our downward facing dog. Again, inhaling, gazing forward, bend the knees. Let's step all the way up to the head of the mat. Separating the feet out, hip distance apart. Take the gaze to the short edge of the mat. Lift the sit bones up to the sky. Perhaps you grab alternate elbows. Or perhaps you bring the hands down off the mat. Just see if you can take a deeper hamstring stretch here. Bring the body weight towards the middle of the feet. Okay, slowly pressing out through both feet. Let's draw that all the way up to standing. Again, releasing the hands overhead, interlacing the fingers, just push the palms away. Bringing the hands down to shoulder height. Let's just have another roll out through the wrists. So bringing the feet back towards each other. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Interlacing the fingers. Just roll the arms over towards the left, push out through the right hip. As we draw the arms back through center, push out through the fingertips, push down through the feet. Let's draw that over to the right, push out through the left hip. Gently drawing that back to center again, pushing out through the fingertips. Let's just cactus the arms, open the heart all the way up to the sky. And as we exhale, let's fold that all the way forward. Inhaling, look up, lengthen. As we exhale, plant the hands down, let's meet ourselves back into a downward facing dog. So now grounding down through both hands. We're going to hinge forward onto the toes, stack the shoulders over the wrists, meet into a high plank. Grounding that right hand into the mat. Let's roll onto the outside edge of that right foot. Sweep the left arm all the way up to the sky so we're meeting into our side plank. There's always the option to lower that right knee to the mat if you feel this is too strong. We're going to inhale, thread that left arm underneath the right. Exhale, draw that back up to center. That's it. Inhaling, threading through, take the gaze where those left fingers go. Exhale, lengthening up to the sky. One more, inhaling, threading through. Exhaling, release. Perfect. Let's roll that left arm all the way overhead. Meet back into our high plank. We're going to take that straight to the other side. So keep that core activated. Onto the left hand, let's sweep the right hand all the way up to the sky. Option to lower the left knee to the mat if you prefer. Inhaling, threading that right arm underneath the left, take the gaze to the right fingers. Exhale, draw that right arm up to the sky. Inhaling, threading through. Exhaling, release. Last one, so inhale, thread through. Exhale, draw that up to the sky, create that banana shape underneath the body. Sweeping the right hand all the way overhead. Let's meet all the way back into a high plank. Again, option to lower to knees, or perhaps this time you prefer to take a full chaturanga, so we drop down, elbows into the side ribs. Roll forward into an up dog. Exhale, release that back and meet into a downward facing dog. As we inhale, gaze forward, bend the knees, let's step all the way up to the head of the mat. And just deepen your forward fold here. So toes are together, ankles together, knees are together. Perhaps this time you're grabbing the alternate elbows, or perhaps you're bringing the hands back aligned with the feet. Just stack the ankles, knees and hips in one nice long straight line. See if you can draw the chest towards the thighs, allow the crown of the head to hang heavy. Now slowly bringing the gaze back forward. Let's sweep the arms all the way up. Again, just interlacing the fingers, just pushing the palms away. Releasing the hands down to shoulder height and just rolling out through the wrists. So we're just trying not to create too much tension into the wrist joints as we release. Okay, so we're going for our final round here. So inhaling, lift and lengthen the arms up to the sky. As we exhale, let's just cactus and see if we can introduce a slight back bend this time, perhaps gazing up to the ceiling. Exhaling, let's hinge all the way forward, meet into a deep forward fold. Inhale, gaze ahead. Exhale, make your way back to your downward facing dog. So just stepping back to the back of the mat. Okay, so this is a little bit stronger, so just take it slowly. We're going to inhale the right leg up to the sky. We're going to draw the right knee in. We're going to see if we can touch it onto the right elbow. And we're going to exhale, lengthen that right leg away into a three-leg dog. Inhale, draw in. See if you can touch it onto the left elbow. Exhaling, releasing back, three-leg dog. Inhale, draw in, knee to nose. And then gaze towards the left side of your mat. Start to release that right foot onto the floor beside the left side of your mat. Plant down through the right hand, roll onto the inside edge of that left foot, and see if you can sweep the left arm all the way up to the sky. So you're meeting into a fallen star. So the right outside edge of the right foot's rested down onto the mat. Are we all together? Perfect. Let's bring and bend that left arm. Bring the left hand onto the back of the head. So as we inhale, we're drawing the elbows to meet. So we're crunching through the side waist. As we exhale, we're drawing that left arm up to the sky. Inhale, elbows to meet. Exhale, lengthen away. Last one. Inhale, draw the elbows in. Exhaling, release. Perfect. So let's plant that left hand down on the mat. Draw the right leg back. And let's meet back into our downward facing dog. So again, if you need a little pedal out here, just release, perhaps shake the hips side to side. Just make it your practice. Then we're going down to the mat after we've done the left side. So let's inhale the left leg up to the sky. As we draw and engage the core, draw that left knee in so you touch it onto the left elbow. Exhale, lengthen that away, three-leg dog. Inhale, drawing in, touching it onto the right elbow. Exhaling, three-leg dog. Inhaling, drawing in, knee to nose. Now gazing at the right side of your mat. Release that left leg underneath the right arm. Rest onto the outside edge of that left foot. Roll onto the inside edge of the right foot. And let's sweep the right arm all the way up to the sky. Pushing out through the side waist. So you've got 3 points of contact onto the mat. Let's bend that right arm. Bring the right hand onto the back of the head. Inhaling, drawing the elbows to meet. Exhale, bring that elbow up to the ceiling. Inhale, elbows in. Exhaling, release. Last one, inhale, draw that in. Exhale, releasing out. Now planting the right hand down on the mat. Let's draw that left leg all the way back. Let's meet into a downward facing dog. So again, perhaps you just have a gentle shake side to side here, release any tension. And as we gaze forward, we're going to start to draw and hinge the body forward, release the knees down, mat width apart, and then draw the bottom back towards the heels. So you're meeting into a wide child's pose. Just lengthen the arms out down the mat. And rest the body down. Take a couple of breaths here, just reconnect with your breath. Now slowly starting to bring the gaze forward. Let's just walk the hands all the way back. So you're meeting up into seated. That's it, nice. Again, just perhaps have a little roll out through the wrist. So you're just going to interlace the fingers. Just gently release any tension into the wrist joints. That's it, nice. Okay. So let's see if we can release the legs forward. So we're going to come into, this is a particular core drill, which I think I've done with you before, but it's one of my favourites and I think it's really effective. It really teaches you to work with this whole area, not just separating the parts of it out. So you bring one of your legs in first and then bring the other one in behind it. So you're crossing onto the shin and then wrap the arms around the legs and really see if you can draw the chest towards the thighs. So you're sitting onto the sit bones, core's engaged, you're engaging the hip flexors and you're sucking in through the pelvic floor. So now we're going to see if we just roll slightly back, we release the feet off the mat and keep the knees hugged into the chest. Okay, so as you gradually start to release the grasp on your opposite elbows, you're going to see if you can keep the knees hugged into the chest. So perhaps you just gently start to release the hands, see what happens to the knees. If the knees start moving all the way back here, just really try and draw them in tight towards the chest. So if you feel that the knees are coming all the way forward, then perhaps you just stay here, gently releasing the hands, Perhaps grabbing the elbows and bringing the knees in. If the knees naturally stay into the chest, perhaps you release the hands with the palms facing each other. So sucking those thighs in towards the belly. Take a nice deep inhale here. As you exhale, really push out through the fingertips. Take the gaze forward. So if you want to challenge yourself further, make sure that you can still feel those thighs onto your chest. As you inhale, raise the arms up to the sky. Exhale, releasing the hands back down, pushing out through the fingertips. And suck the thighs in, sit up nice and tall, try not to round down through the spine. Let's inhale, draw the arms all the way up and lengthen. Exhale, releasing that down. Let's do one more. Inhale, draw that all the way up. Exhale, releasing down. Okay, so all now releasing the legs. If you're still clinging onto them, we're going to see if we can straighten this all the way out and meet into Manavasana, boat pose. So pointing the toes, or perhaps the legs are bent, whichever you prefer. You see if you can draw the ankles together, knees together, pushing out through the fingertips. That's it. Sitting up tall. Perhaps now we turn the heels to meet and turn the toes out to the side. Final variation. Beautiful. I can see some lovely feet going on there. And then gently, let's see if we can release everything down to the mat. Just drawing and releasing the spine down. So just taking a stretch into the hip flexors before we move into our final core work. Just bring the feet up so you can just about touch the heels with the hands. The feet are hip distance apart. We're going to press out through the hands. Inhale, lift the hips up. Perhaps you leave the palm and hands down on the mat, or perhaps you interlace the fingers behind the back, draw the shoulder blades towards each other, and see if you can lift the hips up a little higher. Keep lengthening the back of the neck, perhaps closing the eyes. So you're meeting into your bridge posture. You feel a nice stretch out through the hip flexors. Perhaps even a stretch out into the abdomen if you're lifting the hips high enough. So for those of you who've interlaced the fingers behind the back, let's slowly start to release the hands and just walk the hands away, planting the palms of the hands down onto the mat. Just gently wheel the spine all the way down. Okay, so final core. This is a really effective core. It doesn't need a lot of movement, but it works a treat. So bring the hands onto the lower belly again. You're going to draw the legs up, but bend the legs this time, so the legs are at 90 degrees. So your ankles are aligned with the knees, and the knees are aligned with the hips, and the hands are onto the belly. Roll the shoulder blades out onto the mat. So get that core connection. So you start to suck the belly in. Just feel it activate underneath the hands. And then gently pushing the heels away. So you're flexing through the feet, just push the heels away. You shouldn't need to push them very far before you start to feel the core really working, and perhaps the back starts to lift off the mat. So when you've found your perfect sweet spot, just hold it here and try and control your breath. So as you inhale, just think about pushing that lumbar spine down into the mat. As you exhale, really contract through the abs, draw in through the pelvic floor. And see if you can just hover these legs, where you can feel the core activated. It's working underneath your hands. It's only a very small movement, but it's quite strong. Now let's slowly start to draw the knees back in. So if you draw the knees back in, if it feels good for you tonight, perhaps you just draw the knees properly into the chest and arch the spine down. And then let's slowly realign the knees with the hips. So bringing the hands back onto the lower belly. Hips are stacked underneath the knees. Ankles and knees are aligned and the feet are flexed. So this time we're going to roll it gently over towards the right. So as you roll it over towards the right, you really don't want the right sit bone coming all the way, or the right back of the pelvis coming all the way over the mat. You just want to start to feel it into the sideways. So the minute you feel it into the sideways, you feel like you're going to fall over, just hold it here. Again, contracting the core. making the abdomen nice and strong, using the oblique muscles. Just have a few breaths here. Make sure that that left shoulder blade is not left the mat. You feel it strong into the sideways. You don't need to lower them down very far. And let's gently draw that back to center. So as you reach center, just again, keep that core activated. Just feel it working underneath the hands. And let's slowly roll the legs over to the left. So again, you just want to find that sweet spot. You're not going to fall over to the left. You're using the oblique muscles. The core muscles are used for stability. You're gazing over the right shoulder blades down on the mat. You're feeling something good going on into the side waist. Now slowly drawing that back through center. This time let's bring the knees in towards the chest. Just give the knees a nice big hug. Pushing the lumbar spine down. And slowly releasing the feet out all the way down the mat. So as you release the feet out down the mat, let's just point the toes, bring the arms overhead, rest the back of the hands onto the floor, the mat behind you. Really give yourself another deep stretch. So again, just stretching out through the hip flexors, just stretching out through the abdomen. And drawing the right knee back in. So bring the right knee into the chest. Hug that right knee in really tight. Draw it in, push the lumbar spine down. And taking the right knee into the left hand. Cactus the right arm out to the side. Gaze over towards those right fingertips. And just drop that right knee over to the left. So you're taking a twist into the spine. Perhaps you feel a nice stretch out to the top of that right hip. Gently bringing that right knee back to center. Let's just lengthen the right leg away and bring the left knee into the chest this time. So hug that left knee in nice and tight. Just push the spine down into the mat. And taking the left knee into the right hand, cactus the left arm out to the side. Let's just roll that left leg over to the right. Gaze back over that left shoulder, perhaps towards the left fingertips. Now gently bringing that back to center. As we reach center now, let's take our Shavasana. So you're going to slowly release the feet out, mat width apart. Just allow the feet to roll out. Allow the ankles to roll out. So just opening up through the hips. Releasing any tension, the back of the pelvis. Just release and earth the pelvis, the spine, and the shoulder girdle. Just allow the mat to take the weight of the head. With the inner elbows facing up, palms facing up. Just create some length and space into the collarbones. Just with your eyes closed. Just try and enjoy this current present moment. You've created an energy with your practice. You feel at one with your body. And your mind is not distracted. Let's just gently start to bring a little bit of movement back. Just starting from the toes. Just gently wiggle the toes and then start to roll through the ankles. And start to engage the quadriceps. Engage through the pelvis. Stretch out through the fingertips now. Perhaps roll through the wrists. Engage in the arms. And then gently relaxing everything back down to the mat. Let's start to bring everything back into the midline. So as you walk the feet up the mat, just push the lumbar spine down. Just drawing the knees into the chest, wrap the arms around the legs. Just give yourself a lovely big hug. And slowly start to rock side to side. And eventually you want to find yourself over to the right. And then pushing down through the top hand. Let's gently start to draw ourselves up into seated. So we'll bring our hands into heart center. That's it, nice. And as always, you give yourself gratitude for your practice. Always applaud everything your bodies can do. But there's much more to yoga than that. Yoga's a very long journey with no destination, no perfect posture. Just enjoy exploring what your bodies can achieve, what you'd like to work towards, and most importantly, the calmness and stillness that descends on your mind while you practice. Thank you very much for letting me guide you. Namaste.